Hey y'all, well I'm glad to welcome you back to the channel. I'm super stoked that you decided to come along with me today. I'm getting ready to head out here on the water, go look for a few catfish. I wasted some time out at the lake before I came out here. It's getting to that time of year. I wanted to get out there and see if I could get on a crappie bite. Like to get a few in the cooler, store a few over in the freezer to use as bait throughout the year as the season rolls on. The wind is cranking. It just wasn't meant to be. So I think that the water temps are getting there to where it's gonna be time to be getting on them crappie soon before I miss out on the bite. But regardless, didn't work out, so we're out here today. I came back down on the river where I can get down in this bottom and out of the wind a little bit, and the wind's not going to bother us out here today at all. We're going to be just fine to be able to get out here and target some catfish. So we're not going to have any fresh crappie for bait, but we are going to be using just some frozen gizzard shad that I had in the freezer. I used on my last trip out here and caught a decent flathead on. So they'll work for us for what we need. And so let's just get to it. Let's just go see if we can catch some fish, not waste any more time than we need to here jabbing at the start of the video. Go see what we can find. All right guys, I'll just show you real quick. This is what we're doing. This is just this one here is a smaller shad. Might just cut the tail off of them there to get them bleeding, but we're gonna go ahead and start out with a smaller bait. We got some bigger baits in the cooler, and we'll definitely be putting some bigger baits on while we're out here today before we leave the water. But all we're doing is just dropping that down here at the side of the kayak. You can see we're very shallow, or maybe 3 foot of water. That's about what we're gonna be fishing all day, and we're just gonna suspend it about a foot. That sinker is suspended about a foot off the bottom with our leader. That means our bait is maybe sitting right on bottom or just kind of grazing the bottom there, or potentially suspended up off bottom a little bit. But that's how we're going to target these fish out here today, and just give it some time and see. We'll definitely have some turtles pester us. They'll tear our baits up. These shad have a really soft flesh, so can be a challenge with the turtles, but we'll give it some time, see if we can come across some channel cats, or if we're real lucky, across the good quality flathead. So give it a minute, see what happens. Holy cow. Holy cow. Oh, let me fix the camera there. He pulled me off anchor, which I did not anticipate. No, he hit that hard. All right, we'll run up against this timber over here. We won't float too far downstream. I'll get that camera fixed. Yeah, he hit hard. That's what makes this style of fishing so fun, though. They hit that thing and you're in 3 foot of water. I showed you we're only fishing 3 foot of water, and when you got your bait set such that you've only got that much line out, and you're going to battle with these big cats, and I mean, sure, you can catch bigger cats wherever you go. You can probably find some bigger cats, but I mean, these are good size, good quality cats, and channel cats fight hard as it is. Okay, we got to figure out what we're doing here. How are we gonna get set so we can land this fish? Actually, it might have kind of just worked itself out. We might be able to just handle him right here, just on this other side of the kayak. Let's see if we can pull ourselves up and grab that anchor. This is what I'm doing for an anchor. It's just a big clamp. Try to keep him out of those logs while we do this. I don't know if it'll reach over far enough for us. We're just barely gonna reach. That'll work though. All right. Well, film quality's not going to be there because we got pulled off anchor and kind of screwed things up, but we got ourselves a good quality fish over here. Yeah, they just nail that bait, and there's not much you can do when they hit it that hard except just hold on. We'll see if we can get this guy, and this is going to be a pretty good fish. Pretty good channel cat. These channel cats are just real aggressive too. When they get this size, especially when they hit a bait, they hit it hard. Well, it didn't take long either. Get him landed, and then I'll show you where he pulled us over to. Right here, where we're at right now, is where we started, and that didn't pan out. I sat on it for about 5 minutes on that spot and didn't work out, so I just went across the channel over to that tree that's blown over in the water, and sure enough, we found a fish over there. All right, let's see. I gotta get this pole, get it out of the way if I can. All right, let's pull them in, why don't we? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good quality channel. All right, guys, that's a solid way to get the trip started and get the season started on channels. Like I said, I came out 1 week ago and was fishing these old frozen gizzard shad, and caught. I didn't fish very long on that trip. Frankly, wasn't really expecting to get bit. We're still a little early at that point. Water temps were still very cool. We've done some warming up over the past week, but we got one solid flathead while we were out here, and came back out here today. He's gonna flop on us. Tried to go find some crappie out of the lake. Wasn't to be too windy, but I mean, the wind's not bugging us at all down here. We're out of that wind, and got a good channel cat out of it here. That makes me happy. That's a nice fish. Let's get him back in the water. All right, that's a solid fish there, guys. Good way to get started, and he didn't care that we had that small bait on. So let me show you here. Right here where this log is sticking out of the water, that's right where I had my kayak parked. That's the first spot I set up on when we got started. Launched my kayak right up over here. Nothing happening here, so I just went across the channel, anchored off, obviously not very well, to that tree that's fallen down in the water. Produced a really good quality channel cat for us. So what I'm gonna do is get another bait on the line here and get things kind of straightened up, and then I'm gonna just go back across the channel, anchor back down, hopefully a little bit better this time, on that same spot, and see if we don't get bit again. Typically I'll set up on a spot, sit for 5-7 minutes, something like that. I mean, this fish hit in just a matter of about a minute or two, and that's usually how it is. If there's a fish there, they're gonna hit, and so I give just a few minutes and then I'll move on. But you don't have to necessarily move very far. So in this case, I just went maybe 10 foot across the channel, found a fish over there. We'll go back over there, drop a bait in the same spot, and see if there might be another one. Most of the time there's not, but sometimes there is, and so we'll drop another bait there and see if there's another one that might want to play. If not, then we're just gonna go upstream just a ways. We were on this downed tree. We'll go up to that downed tree and drop a bait there, see if there's a fish on that tree, and then we'll move up and we'll keep going like that, and we'll work our way up river and then float back down. So that's the plan. So without further ado, I guess let's get another bait on the rod here and get it dropped back down and see what else we can find. We'll grab another bait here. These are the gizzard shads. I'm using up these small ones. There are a couple small ones in there. Getting them used up first, and I like to, all I did was just kind of cut them here at an angle because I wanted to cut those fins out of the way. So got all the fins on the back half of that. I don't need that, so I'll toss that, and then we got it open that way to where it's going to be bleeding a little bit. So it's not a very big bait. I like to have a little bit bigger, but obviously we don't need them to be a little bit bigger, so this will work just fine. So I'm just going under the gill plate and through the nose, and we're just going to fish it like that. So like I said, Not a real big bait. I'd like to have a little bit bigger, but obviously what we got there is going to be plenty enticing enough for the fish we're after. Okay, guys, we got us one here that decided to just give me a bath. Okay. Now, water is still real cold, isn't it? That's another really nice channel. I didn't get that camera turned on like I thought I had, so you missed the initial surge, but he's still got plenty of tug and plenty of fight in him. We're gonna let him play himself out a little bit. I'm not sure that he got that hook real well. He didn't make like one big hard initial surging run, which is where they, you know, I get that confidence from, that they've set that hook on themselves and we're in business. So hopefully he's got the hook adequately, but I don't like bringing these big channel cats in too soon, especially in a little kayak like what I got. So we're gonna let him play out, which I think we're about there. So I'll see if I can get a glove on. This river's been so low for the past probably 3 or 4 years now, and so, you know, there's only, I guess I don't know what I'm trying to say. There's only so many pockets of water that are deep enough to really make you feel confident that you're going to get a solid bite when you set up there. But that being said, when you do run into one of those pockets of water, you can be pretty confident that it's going to work out for you. So this is a hole here that I knew was here, and we've pulled another really nice fish off of it. So I'm going to see if I can get him landed, and then I think what we'll do is hit one more. And got one more hole I'd like to go try, so we'll drop one more bait here on this hole just to see if there might be another fish hanging around, and then we'll go try to hit one other hole that I'd like to try, and then we'll probably call it a trip. But this is another just beast of a channel cat. That one we got earlier was a really big channel cat too, but this is just another really nice long and chunky fish. These channel cats are really muscly. When you're landing them in a little kayak like this, you want to be really careful not to run this line up against the edge of your kayak, or it'll sever that line really quickly. Let's see if I can get him to open his mouth for me just enough that I can get my hand in there. Nope. Yeah, that water's still really cold. Open up. I'm not gonna hurry here. A lot of people lose patience when I'm trying to land fish on camera, but you guys can just wait, because it doesn't ever pay off to get in a hurry. Obviously, if I had a landing net, then this would be over with by now, but I don't like bringing one. It's just more stuff to carry. It takes up space. It adds a little element of difficulty when you're trying to land them by hand. All right. Just got to get him to open his mouth for me enough. There we go. Okay. Let me get that rod out of the way. Got that paddle out of the way for the most part. Let's just go ahead and get our camera mount ready right now. All right, let's lift him in. Oh yeah, that's another just solid channel. All right, let's get you all up there in the front. Let's hold up this fish, how about? That's just another really solid channel. Wow. And they're feeding up. I mean, he's got a belly on him. Got some leeches back here on one of the back fins. These fish are a lot of fun. And that's two just textbook, this size, really good quality channels out here today. Let's send him home. He's out of here. All right. Well, that's two. Like I said, I think there's really only about, I've been out here a little while now, I think there's really only about one more hole that I have much of any interest in fishing on this stretch. So I think what I'll do is get a look at this bait first off. Yeah, that's still in good shape too. I haven't been using this bait for too long, but he's knocked the guts out of it, but it's still got plenty of oils and blood. So we'll go ahead and rehook it. We'll see. I may not be able to hook it back, thread it back through the nose. These shad are really soft. They're soft fleshed, and they're, when you're trying to hook them like through the bone or like through the nose like that, they tear really easily. I think that'll work actually though, so we can send it back out like that. It should be good for another fish. So I think what I'll do is just drop a bait back here on this same hole, give it a chance to produce another one if it might, and then if it doesn't, we'll just give it about 5 minutes or so, and then we'll move on down and be downstream to this other hole I want to fish. And get bit, great. If not, we got 2 really good quality fish out here today. So the filming has been a little bit of a mess. I'm getting accustomed again to doing this here in the new season. This is only, like I said earlier in the trip, only my second outing of the season, and the first one was 1 week ago. It was a really short outing. So let's drop another bait, see if we can get another bite. If not, then like I said, we'll be happy with the outcome today. We got 2 really good quality fish so far. Let's see if we can find another one. Okay, so I've not pulled up on this hole quite yet. I've just pulled up over here on the bank. I'm gonna refresh this bait real quick. We had a little turtle tugging at it. That bait's still in overall pretty good shape, but got tore up a little bit. And while the head baits are my favorite, pulling up on this hole, it's got some good history on it. I want to have a fresh piece, and it's probably going to be one of the last, if not the last spots we hit. So I want to make sure we're good and fresh. And it's starting to get pretty cold out here. We've got a front moving through. It was up almost near 80 today for the high. It was probably pretty close to that when I got on the water today, but we're definitely, tomorrow's highs, I think 50. So about a 30-degree temperature swing, and obviously we're gonna get lower than that tonight. It's starting to feel pretty cold. We're gonna go ahead and put a chunk on, so that'll be a good bait. It's not a head bait, but it's good and bloody, good and fresh. So we'll just cut that fin off. That fin's probably fine. Grab our hook and just give ourselves the best chance we can. Make sure we have a good and fresh bait on. Get those scales away from the hook point. See, now, okay, so, and that's kind of weird, is I'm sitting here washing my hand in the water, getting that slime and stuff off from the bait. And when I came out here today, I'd said, yeah, that water's still really cold. The air temperature was quite warm. Well, now it's opposite. The air temperature, especially with this breeze, is pretty cool. That water, at least where I'm sitting right here, and of course we've had some time now throughout the day for it to warm up a little bit, but that water's warm. So, you know, and warm's relative, but my hands are a little bit cold from being out here in the cooler air and with the wind and sticking it down that water. It's pretty warm, so some changes happening out here today. But let's go ahead and get this bait back in our cooler, and we're just gonna roll up on that big wood pile that's in the water there behind me, and that's gonna be the hole that we hit, and see if we find anything, and then probably get out of here pretty quick. We've got a turtle playing tug of war with our fresh bait, which unfortunately means we're probably not going to pull a fish off this hole, and it also means I'm probably going to have to replace that bait one more time, because I am gonna, well, typically when I fish this spot, we catch fish up here on the top of the hole, and in fact most holes that I set up on tend to catch fish on top of the hole. You know, got that current running down to carry your scent down into the pile. But I will drift back into it a little bit just try to get a little bit closer if there's an inactive fish sitting in there. So if this turtle's got our bait all tore up, I will probably cut one more bait just to drift back on this hole a little bit and see if I can't just get it right in the face of an inactive fish. But unfortunately, it looks like it's not going to happen for us, at least not right here on top of the hole. Well guys, I think I'm going to paddle back and call it a trip. The wind has started cranking, I'm starting to get pretty cold, and I'm starting to get a little bit hungry. So I've had a good trip out here. I caught 2 really good quality channel cats. It's never, I mean, if you've watched any of my videos before, you know it's never just a crazy hot bite. Like, I don't typically come out here and catch 6 or 7 or 8 fish. Two channel cats of the size that we got today is a pretty dang good trip. So I've had fun. That's the main thing. I've got several, I guess, good weekends coming up. I'm gonna have to do some scheduling. I'm not sure when I'll get back around to the catfish. I'll probably next weekend go try at the crappie, maybe the next couple of weekends, just because I like to get on. Well, one, they're fun to catch, but I like to save them over, have them in my freezer, so I've got bait throughout the year, throughout the summer and the fall. Because for me, I've usually got 1 day a week to fish, and if I have 1 day and I want to go catfishing, I don't have time to go get bait. So it's good to go get on the early spring crappie bite, get them in the freezer, have them ready to go. We got spring turkey coming up. I'm definitely gonna have to devote a little bit of time to that. By the time we get done with that, I mean, we'll be at least in the second half of April before I get back around probably to catfishing. But I don't know, you never know. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll find some time here in the next week or 2 to get out again. And I don't know, I think it's gonna be a good year. Gonna be a lot of fun. Hopefully find a lot of fish, and hopefully at some point find some good quality fish. It's been a while since I've got on you know, any 20+ pounders. Last year I maybe had 1 or 2 that would have kind of grazed that 20-pound mark. So this is small water we're fishing, so it's not like, you know, you're not going to get a 50-pounder on every trip. But you know, I may go hit some different waters this year. We'll just see, but we're going to try to do what we can to get the quality along with the quantity to be able to continue to make these videos. But I'm getting cold. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to start paddling and get back to the launch and in my pickup out of this wind. Appreciate you guys coming along with me. I hope you enjoyed it. I sure had fun out here, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.